Hello everybody, it's me again. Let's see if the live stream is working. Give me 1 second please. Yes, I can see some images here. Let's see, I need to check here on the right side. I have a laptop on which I can chat with you guys, and 1 second to see if everything is smooth and running. Okay. It's always a bit tricky. Yeah, what you see in front is that's maybe today a bit different than normally. We have now a live stream about making music and okay, how okay, there's a feedback. Because next week we have our new album out, and for most the name PERU is a bit unknown. Most likely synthesizer music lovers from Europe most likely know the band, the people which also liked Tension Dream, Jean-Michel Jarre, most likely know our band, and we made in the past, started somewhere in the 80s, quite some albums, and now after 25 years we have a new album which is called The Return, and that will be released next week. Then it's available. You see here the cover, it's a PDF file. If you open this booklet, on the inside you can see that here is myself and Ruud van Es, and originally PERU was formed by Peter and Ruud, hence the odd name. And we did spend some time in making this new album. Here you can see in the inside of the booklet, you can read a bit about the history. So I thought, yeah, maybe it's a nice idea, because yeah, mostly I tell about the products and do some tips and tricks, and maybe it's nice to see a bit of my music background, because of course initially I started as a musician. So this is the track which is the last track on the album, and let's give me you. It's a synthesizer music. Let's see, and let's play one track which I like a lot, which will have next week a video clip. It's the second track on the album, and I will simply play it because to show you that it is a very diverse album which has very different, not different styles, but it's not the traditional synthesizer music from the 80s. You hear some modern influences, but still you have the same feel which people know from our band from the past. So this song is called The Loop. So next week I will upload a video about that. Just a few seconds of this song. well, this continues, of course. It's a song of about 4 minutes. So this one is a bit different again. And I played it to a few producers which do regular dance music, and they said, oh, well, it needs to have a beat. But it's, of course, synthesizer music. It's music where you put on, you listen to it. And therefore, we also produce a CD. The original synthesizer music lovers are more into buying the CD instead of having a digital download or whatever. So, about this last track, well, maybe it's just a neat idea to show you how we did this. This last track is called Meteor Rain, and which is more a chill out track. And you see here is the tracks build up. In total, I think it's 15 tracks active. And the initial idea started with Predator and with a noise, because what we very often do, Ruud and I, is really start from scratch with a sound. And so if I play this one solo, you will hear it starts with a noise which moves over into a noise. So let's play this solo, and then when I press solo here, the microphone is muted, but that doesn't matter. So here we have this Predator 2 and this sound that moves from a noise to a sequence sound. Okay, so we had that one. Okay, let's see if I have solo twice. If that works out here. No, it doesn't. Okay, now I have solo also on the microphone and this instrument. So what happens, you can see on this track, there is some automation. So the filter frequency changes, filter LFO amount, and the envelope release does change, and the opening of the decay. So also the decay parameter here changes. Maybe we can see it move it. So what we did also in the past is, of course, we used in the past hardware synthesizers, and then we tweak the sound while recording it. And that's what's happening here as well with this noise sound. So let's start again from 0. You see here the changes of the decay, and here you see the decay is totally open, and if I'm not wrong, this one is going to change. Yeah, there you see it moving. So what I also did, I panned the sound a bit to the left, and on the right there's a mono delay. So this is not a typical stereo left delay, but it's a mono delay. I can see I have a bit more room, so let's make the screen a bit bigger here. Okay, so that was the starting point. Of course, then now you don't hear the fully song. Maybe it's an idea that I first play now this fully song, which is from the last track on our album. And just listen to it, and then I will explain a bit more what we did inside of it. Okay, so let's shut down. You only see now the tracks here. I'll make it a bit bigger. Everything what happens in general. Okay, so I shut down the microphone again, and we'll play this song, and then I will continue telling about it. So that's essentially the whole track. So when I go back, you see here the noise where I started. Sometimes it doesn't play, sometimes it kicks in again. The bass in this track is subwoofer bass. I will show it a bit later on, but this song starts with this sound from Prisma, and Prisma has the option to layer two sounds. So now this one uses Rings of Orbit, which is a preset, I think, from Prisma, which combines two sounds from Blue 2. So this is this chord sound you hear at the start. 1 second, let's play it again. Here it is. I don't know if I changed or rooted changed something here, but so this is the intro pad sound, and it comes back later on in the song also. You see on this point it comes back, and at the very end. So that's where the sound starts. Then I did mention subwoofer bass, and that's the original one. This plays the bass sequence. Okay, now I'm opening the wrong instrument. Here it is, subwoofer bass, and it uses the built-in sequencer. So it starts here. It starts here, yeah. And there's a movement, I think, by the modulation wheel, or maybe automation. This could be show automation. You see, it starts very dark. And then I think it's the envelope amount which opens, which is up here. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So that makes it dark. I hope you can see it, guys. It's this little knob, envelope amount. I use the built-in FX mono delay. You see, now it opens very slowly. It's recorded. So the mono delay is used on purpose, not to make the stereo thing going too wild. So I thought, yeah, sometimes it's good to simply have a mono delay. What I do, this sound does, of course, the bass. I see in the mono delay, the high pass filter cuts off a bit of the low ends, otherwise you get a bit of harmonic count ups or phase problems. So it's a bit muddy made, so there's a bit of low pass filter and high pass filter used to make the essentially the delay a bit less hi-fi, which sounds better. And in the past, when we had, of course, the first digital tape delays or analog delays, and they were very noisy, but they also had a bit of muddy sound, which created this sound. So this is the bass in this track. Okay, and then from scratch, this sound is also built from scratch, because I see we saved the preset PERU Meteor. That's the name of the track. And then I go to is also used. I think I add this one. Okay, need to open go to with the big screen version, and then we see what go to does in this track. And you see here it's also a sound built from scratch. We do a lot of scratch building, because especially with sequencer, it makes that you can really get the feel. And yeah, we like to fiddle around, so let's play this one. It's more chord thing together with the bass. It's a nice combination. And you see here the chord, I use the high pass filter to cut away the low frequency. So I don't use an EQ on it, but I use simply the high pass filter to cut away the low frequencies. Otherwise it would be interfering with the bass. So if maybe I can show you now, by removing the high pass filter, you hear that it's not as transparent anymore. So now the bass and the sequence sound interrupt with each other in the lower frequency. So by adding this high pass filter on Go 2, I solve this problem. Okay, and then let's play another sound, which was also, okay, so another sequence which was done by Go 2, and that's this one. Uses the reverb of Go 2, phaser of Go 2. Also here I use the high pass filter to cut away the low rumble. So in combination with this sequence, you have the basic sequencing going on. Of course, then there is the drums, and the drums is in this case punch, but it's very subtle, how you call it in English, a bit more in the background. So let's play punch in a solo way. Let's see, I need to... So now you can hear a bit of the drums playing. Sometimes things kick in, sometimes they are gone. So here, for instance, the so low rumble kicking in this piece, and then it's gone again. Okay, let's see. It's maybe most likely one of the presets. Oh no, I just tweaked it a lot and then saved the preset to be safe that we don't lose this preset with all the settings. So this is punch used in the track, and as mentioned, this is a really relaxed track, so it's not very beaty. There is, of course, this lead sound, which is the prominent theme, which is this sound from Predator 2, and it's Meteor. I adjust a bit. I think it's one of the presets, but what I did adjust is use the ensemble, but also used in the mixer. Let's see. Yeah, it's RP Verb, the original one. Here it is. So, and this makes really the space in this piece of music. This is the main theme inside of it, and let's hear how much influence this reverb has on the lead sound. So I play it now with the reverb, and then we'll mute it, and you can hear how much influence it has on the whole atmosphere of this song. So now with reverb. I put it off now. Now you can really hear that makes really the whole feel in this chill out track. Okay, so let's play it solo again. Now here it comes again. Solo. That really makes this whole space. And later on, the part of the melody is doubled by another Predator, which is down here. And this sound is so deep in the reverb, and the rest is pretty dry. That even strengthens the FX of it, that it is so spacey. Okay. And so the well, this is the sound which is doubling it, and this one only has a bit of stereo delay. So let's play that one solo. It plays on top of the this piano type of space sound. Okay, so let's see. Down here it is. This here it is, and this is the sound. Maybe I should move this a bit. So it doubles. So let's play it solo. It's as it looks, it's a also a preset from Predator 2 what we used. So this in combination is essentially the main theme in this. And then once that happens twice, this main theme, then you get this sound, which is essentially just by playing around, and suddenly we did run in this arpeggiator sound, wave arp 1, and just the way it's played, we suddenly had an additional theme to the song. So let's play it. What you see, maybe what you notice, is the steps are walking, but if you play shorter note, I need to play the right notes, of course. So each time it does reset, and yeah, this gives the second part of this whole piece of music. So, and then below that one, so that's this Seek arpeggiator theme, which appears here in this part. But you also hear then, for instance, the Predator lead sound, which pops up, which is more, yeah, I mean, we did everything in our new album with the with music software, and you see in the background I have a Minimo, Jupiter 8, all kind of fun stuff, but for me it's a bit faster to create the sounds inside the music program, because in the end, for me, the only thing which counts is the workflow and making music. So currently I feel more comfortable doing everything in the computer, and of course everybody has its own way of working, and in the past we had, of course, everything tape recorder, recording, and but now we do everything in the computer together, Ruud van Ness and myself. Ruud also used other software synthesizers for this album. We used also the Dune and Spire and some other stuff from East West also, and of course a lot of Rapapen instruments, but that's not that much important. Most important is of course the music, and everybody has its own flow. And maybe I'm also a bit lazy, because if you're playing with hardware, you need to record it into your computer and that kind of stuff, and that would slow me down. So when I like to have a kind of Minimoog style lead sound, I simply recreate that one in Predator 2 or in Bluetooth. So here you see Predator 2, and this is called Meteor Lead Moog. So yeah, I even called it a Moog lead sound. So let's play it. It plays here in this part. Here it comes. So as you can hear, it's really the Moog type of sound. It has a bit of reverb and delay, and it's of course using the legato mode. So the only thing what I do while mixing, is, for instance, I give this a little bit. You see RPEQ. It gets here a little bit on the fourth band, which is set to 12 Hertz, a little bit of top notch, so that's a bit more high frequency, so that it jumps out of the rest. And you see the rest is pretty much not much EQ used, but I will come to this a bit later on. So this is this lead sound which you hear in this piece of music. Let's close this one here. So, and then what you also hear is something which I always normally did with the older PERU albums with the Jupiter 8, and now I recreated this type of pad sound. And for sure the PERU listeners who know the PERU albums like Continents and whatever, Falling, know exactly which sound I mean, which you can hear now. It's Predator 2. So this is really the pad sound. So definitely some PERU fans will recognize this type of sound. So this one plays here in this piece, where the solo also happens from this song. The pad plays, and the pad plays also at the very end where the melody comes back. So in this moment here. This is the last track on this album, really a chill out song, relax song, and of course most very different than, for instance, when you create dance music. In terms of mixing, what we use, I will show it, is inside. This is mixed using the glue. We use that as a kind of a mastering compression with a average ratio 2 stands to 1, and let's play it. You can see it moving around. Essentially, we did mix a lot in the past on the solid state mixer, these big ones, and they had this in the middle of the console, this very nice master bus compressor, and this sound as such, and it's of course a classic way of mixing what we do. And of course it's not a war on loudness with this kind of type of music. The average is -10, -8 RMS on this whole album, so it's definitely not the type of music which you want to have this totally flat compression. Okay, so this is what we used on the master, and of course we used an master magic, and you see, to make this low end very tight, we used the mono stereo split filter, and we use a bit of air, which really freshes up the whole mix. That's what we do. And then at the very end I use a bit of limiting, so that we have, for instance, not because this song, it really could be that there is only 1 second, one little peak of 3 dB, and this what I flat out so that the volume is a bit more even. I mean, the problem with digital is 0 is 0, so even if you have a track which only has 1 millisecond going to 0, which is maybe a peak of 3 dB, yeah, it's wise to bring this down. But that we did by doing the mastering, but not to increase the overall RMS thing, but simply to what they normally also would do if they would master in the past on a vinyl album. So limiting off the few peaks which are a bit too much. So essentially this is the track what we did, and there are a few people a bit later on here I see in the chat room. Well, this is a bit different live stream because it's a bit about my music background, and we with a band. I just showed you the beginning of the start. This is the new CD. We will be available next week, and we are very old chaps in the electronic music scene, and some of the European guys who like Jean-Michel Jarre, Tangerine Dream, Klaus Schulze, all these type of people know us, of course, from the past. And now after 25 years we have a new album which is called The Return, and I just showed now the track Meteor, which is 5 minutes and 18 seconds, how that one was done and how we created it. And the inside part, you can see this album's made together with Ruud van Es, and we are already worked together in the early 80s. Original PERU was founded by Peter and Ruud, hence the odd name. That was Peter, the first 2 letters, and Ruud, the first 2 letters. Of course, it had nothing to do with the country Peru, so there's very often a confusion. Is it traditional Peru music or is it something else? Therefore, now the new album, you see the pyramid from the first album, which we released in 1981, comes back, but you see here that we mentioned synthesizer music. So for the new people, they recognize on the front of the CD that not traditional music, but yeah, synthesizer music. So We will have a very nice video clip next week. I will upload that. Of course, I will mention this. And so this is what I did today. I'll tell a bit of the music making of Rob Harpen, how Rob Harpen together with his friend Rudy Van Es makes music. And you see, it's not that complex. It's pretty traditional. And we had a lot of fun. So let's see if somebody has a question, because I was talking already for a pretty long time. Let's see what the chat room has to say. Yeah, some joined a bit later. I see some more people now in the live stream. Of course, I will add this one to the playlist from the live stream. But this is a very different one. This is about making music, telling a bit about my background. And this is more a traditional, relaxed, chill-down track. And I played in the beginning another track. Let's see if I can show you. I need to see if I can find that one. I can play from the audio, of course, also another track. Give me 1 second. I will need to search in the big files. This is the intro track, which is called A New Start. Open. Okay, I need to import it now in Cubase to play it to you. So this is the first track, just to show you that these the music is very diverse on this track. It remains electronic synthesizer music, but we have also some modern influences. So let's see if this one wanna work out. Yeah, that's a good one. Audio was gone, but so yeah. Sorry guys, I wanted to show you the one of the other tracks, because this one what I just played from the start, and some people just missed it, I think. This one is pretty much relaxed, chill down, and I just played the first track. Let's give me another try. Maybe I can. Okay, that's the wrong screen. Let's give it another try. It's a new start if the audio plays now. No, it doesn't play. It has to do with the way I think this player works, that cuts down the track. Oh, that's not so nice. So this means that you also did not hear the other track in the very start. Okay, let's play. Let's give it a try if I can throw it here. Okay, I simply throw it inside the track here. Let's see if it plays now. This is the first track from the album. Of course, I have to shut down the master plugins. Yeah, sorry that the audio didn't work. This is the first track. So you hear it's a bit different. You also hear some modern influences, although you don't hear a very big fast beat. So the song I showed in this today in the tutorial about how the last track was built up is a bit different than what you heard now. And in the early start of the live stream, I played the loop, which I think it's my favorite song. And I played it to a few producers, and I said, "Oh, Rob, you need to have a beat on this one." But this is music for listening, for to chill down. And this song is called The Loop. and I think it's a very nice song. Let's play it. This is a big massive pad sound, so it continues at the end. You get some other style. So there's far more modern influences. This is of course very different than what we did in the very past, but you still hear the style we use. There, let's see. So these are 2 tracks, and yeah, what I did today is show you the last track on the album, which is a chill out track, and let's play it. Then I need to put in, of course, here on the master. So I told a bit how we did this, what we used. Okay. This one sounds again much different. I think it's a very diverse album. Maybe also because we started in 2015 and now 3 years later we have it finished. So I think because of the different time that we worked on it, that therefore these sounds and these songs are also different. But still, people who know PERU as original band will hear the sound of PERU inside of it. So. Somebody did ask in the chat room about the CPU and how do we do it with MIDI. And let me see, where was the... Well, we never had a problem with CPU, because yeah, modern computers are very powerful. What we used in the studio, I went to the north where Ruud van Es lives, and I showed this picture. 1 second. Stupid me. So we were in the studio. I shut it down and I need to find it back now. 1 second. So I went up north for the, and then we well, here is the studio. You see here with Rudy, and we use this picture also on the album, on the inside, and the inside from the album. You see the inside. There's a little story about our band and the history, and everything which we done inside this album is totally software based. So if you look here, you see I have a lot of analog gear. I even took my modeler with me in the studio, and we fiddled around a bit, but then we moved on with using both our laptops. So this is totally done in the computer, and no outside gear is used, simply because yeah, the results are for us fantastic. What you can do these days with music computers is totally impressive. So I mean, I showed in this the lead theme of this one uses Predator 2 and RP Verb, and in the past you have to have a very expensive lexicon to have this type of really spacious reverb. So let's play it again, and you hear this reverb on Predator 2 on the main lead theme on this music piece. Sorry, I'm messing up here a bit, but this is the lead's theme. And uses the original RP Verb, so when I shut it down, you hear that really makes a sound. You hear a bit of delay, which is original in the Predator 2, and then really the reverb makes really this atmosphere in this song. This is more the chill out track. I have, of course, I mentioned earlier, the way I make pads. People will recognize, which have the older PERU albums like Folian or Continent. They will hear pad sounds which come back now, but now instead of using my Jupiter 8, which I really totally love, I simply made them with Predator 2 because that's a bit faster in the workflow. So let's play this pad sound. And this sound is Mellow Carpet it's a factory patch, and really sits very nice in this piece of music. So let's play it now. Okay. In the background. Okay, so maybe it's interesting to tell a bit about the background, because we started original in 1981 and did an album. We released it as a own release. We did not have a record company at that moment. Afterwards, a record company came to us and wanted to have the album in their catalog, but we did play it live. So the first album was done on 2 tracks, live playing. Then the second album was 1982. We did on 4 tracks, Teak, and then it was Pseudo live, and then we moved to 8 tracks, and then in the end we had in the studio 24 tracks. But it always was a hustle, because then the mixer, there was a hum, there was noise, there was this, there was that. So working now with music software and the way it works now, it was total recall and everything is nice and okay. Of course there can be problems with software too, but compared to the old days, it's a lot more productive. You have less time worry about this going wrong or that going wrong. For instance, with the original Linn drum computer, you had to record the sync signal first on the tape. After recording the sync signal, you could record the drums with the Linn drums, because otherwise you had a kind of delay. So yeah, triggering stuff. Of course, it was fun at its own way, but maybe that's the reason why I value the way things are possible now, maybe even more, because yeah, so much is possible. And you see in this track, which is a chilled down track, only 15 tracks are used. I mean, it's only part of what is possible, but in the end it's always about the music, and better to have 4 tracks which have a nice flow and feel to it than 64 tracks which are totally overfilled. So we really appreciate the limitation, and also no, I need to say that in a different way. We really appreciate that a lot of is possible, but we know also, on the other hand, that limitation makes people also creative, and so we from the past we learned that in the end it's all about music. So if there are people who are using only hardware or only software or both of them, doesn't matter, as long as you are happy in the way you create the music. That's the most important thing. And of course, if we would ever play live, that would be nice to have some real gear in front of you and turn the knobs, and but that's not planned yet. Oh, the DAT tapes, yeah, I know. Yeah, we DAT tapes, but we also recorded only 2 tracks, Revox, which had a very good sound. Now it's sometimes even you need to, sometimes you even tend to add a bit of noise, his noise in the background, because sometimes it's so clean and so open, and so that's almost frightening. I mean, you don't hear any hum or noise which was in the past. You can do a perfect fade out and do some automation. So okay guys, so that's for today. Check on next week. This CD will be released. If you are interested in synthesizer music, or simply maybe sounds, or like this type of music, yeah, check this CD out. And I will also upload the video clip from the second track, The Loop, which I think is a very nice track. And Ruud and I are very proud on this CD, and we are old chaps, and after 24 years we had such fun making this new album, because once we started, I mean, it was 25 years ago that we did the last album, so we did not know what would happen, but we had fun, and we are way happy with the results. Anyhow, next week I will be most likely also live streaming, and we'll see what we do next, because of course the plugins, they will come next year. Most likely 3 new plugins, 2 FX are in progress, and 1 different synthesizer. So thanks for watching, and enjoy making music.